Let me tell you how I met a boy who changed my life, and how, years later, he changed it all over again. You ever notice how in small towns, the quiet isn't just about peace? Sometimes it's hiding something, almost like the silence itself is holding its breath, waiting for someone to care enough to break it. That's how it felt the morning I found Eli. I was just the milk lady. Nobody special, at least that's what I used to think. But let me back up a second, because the way all this started, you might think I'm making it up. Picture this. I'm 28, fighting with a rusty old pickup down some half-forgotten road at the edge of town, clutching a milk crate so hard my knuckles ache, hoping my teeth don't chatter right out of my head from the autumn cold. Jacket hanging off me like I borrowed it from a scarecrow, second hand hat pulled low over curls that never seemed to listen, shoes still damp from the last rain. Out here, the woods press close, trees crowding the sky until you can barely see the sun, and every turn feels like you're leaving the world you know behind. I deliver milk, door to door, because sometimes you gotta take what you can get, even if it's not the dream you once had. Even if it means holding your breath every time you look at your bank account, just hoping you'll make it to next week. This one house, people call it the forgotten house, which is generous. It looked like it was built out of whatever the world left behind. Paint peeling, porch groaning like it's too tired to stand, windows shuttered tight, almost like it was ashamed to be seen. Neighbors would whisper about it, the way people do when they want to sound like they care but don't want to get involved. After the husband died, they'd say she locked herself and the boy away. Nobody goes in, nobody comes out. And everyone acted like that was just normal, like sad stories should stay hidden behind closed doors. Anyway, that morning, I set the crate down and gave the door a soft knock, not expecting much. Door cracks open, and there's this kid, 6 years old, if that, with wild brown hair and the kind of eyes that seem too big for his face. Eyes like storm clouds, darting around like he's waiting for something bad to happen. He grabs that crate so quick I nearly lose a finger, then the door slams shut right in my face. You know that feeling when you see something you know you can't unsee? Yeah, that was me, just standing there, heart all twisted up. I'd seen my share of tough kids, working this job, but something about him. I don't know. Maybe it was the way he shook, or maybe it was the way he wouldn't look at me, like he was already used to being invisible. Truth is, I knew that feeling too well. Grew up in a trailer with parents who were more ghosts than people. Mom drank her memories away, Dad disappeared whenever things got hard. By 10, I was an expert at hiding bruises and telling stories, just fell off my bike, promise. Survival was my only hobby, and hope was for people who didn't know better. But I made myself a promise, if I ever got the chance, I'd be the person I needed when I was that scared kid. That morning, looking at that boy, I wondered if maybe this was my shot. A few days later, I'm back on that same mud-choked road, sky as gray as dirty dishwater, telling myself it's just another delivery, but I know I'm lying. This time, the kid looks worse. Split lip, bruised eye, sweater hanging off his bones. I try to talk to him, gentle, careful, and he flinches like I'd shouted. Then I hear her. What the hell is taking so long? The woman's voice, sharp and mean, cuts right through the air. He bolts, grabs the crate, slams the door again. All I hear is the lock clicking, like punctuation on my helplessness. So I do what any sensible coward would do. I go looking for someone braver. Down the road, there's this old woman raking leaves, and I ask if she knows anything about the family up the hill. She won't even look at me. Ain't none of our business, she snaps, raking harder, trying to bury whatever guilt she feels under a pile of wet leaves. And right then, I realize, everyone knows, but nobody wants to see. That's how kids like Eli slip through the cracks. But that night, I can't sleep. Can't get that kid's face out of my mind. I tell myself, just stay out of it, Amara. You're not a hero, you're just the milk lady. But sometimes your heart makes choices your head can't follow. Next evening, I find myself parked in the shadows, rain coming down in sheets, creeping up to that house with my heart pounding like it wants to break out of my chest. Through a torn curtain, I see the boy, and then I see her, dragging him across the floor, his little body limp, her face twisted in a rage that would scare the devil. I don't think. I just move. Crate of milk crashes on the porch, bottle shattering, me shoving through the unlocked door. The stench of cigarettes, mold, and something even uglier. She whirls on me, a hair wild, cigarette dangling. What the hell do you think you're doing? I plant myself between her and the kid, voice trembling but loud enough for both of us to hear. Let him go. She laughs. It's a nasty sound. He's mine. Mind your business. But I can't. You're not touching him again. I'm calling the police. She spits, says, take him. He's dead weight. Like his daddy. She shoves him toward me hard. He stumbles, and I catch him. He's light as a bird, shaking so bad my own arms start to tremble. We get out of there, her voice screaming curses behind us, and I swear it feels like running through a battlefield. I shove him in the truck, slam the door, and drive until the house is just a nightmare in the rearview. You're safe now, I tell him, but I'm not sure I believe it myself. He scoots closer, resting his head against my arm, and in that tiny moment, it's like hope is breathing again. My apartment's nothing special, barely 2 rooms, furniture older than me, but it's warm and it's safe, and tonight, that's enough. I patch him up as best I can, wash the blood and dirt from his face. When I ask his name, he whispers Eli, so soft I almost miss it. That's a beautiful name, I tell him, and for a second, I see something in his eyes crack, just a little. He asks, "Are you sending me back?" And my heart nearly breaks. No, baby. Not ever. He falls asleep on the couch, wrapped in my old patchwork blanket, still tense even in his dreams. I sit up all night, watching the rain on the glass, not sure what comes next, but knowing I can't let him go through another night afraid. But by morning, I know what I have to do. I call the authorities. I hate it, but I'm just the milk lady, and he needs more than I can give. Social workers come. They try to be gentle, but you can see the wall in their eyes. Eli clings to my hand like I'm his whole world, and when they take him, I want to scream, want to fight, but all I can do is hold him tight and whisper, "You're gonna be okay. You're stronger than any of this." He doesn't answer, just hugs me so hard it hurts, then lets go, walking away with all he owns in a plastic bag. Years go by. I go back to work, but something in me never quite heals. I watch playgrounds for kids with haunted eyes. I leave the porch light on at night. Sometimes hope hurts more than anything. But then, 20 years later, on a day bright enough to feel like forgiveness, I hear a knock on my door. And there he is, Eli, grown now, tall and strong, wearing a suit like he was born for it, those same gray eyes shining. He says, "I've been looking for you." We sit on the old couch, the same one he slept on as a child, and he tells me how he made it, foster homes, scholarships, law school, every heartbreak and every victory, all because he wanted to be the kind of person who stands up for kids nobody else sees. "I'm being sworn in as a judge next week," he says, and I swear, for a second, my heart forgets how to beat. "I want you there, Amara. I want you in the front row." At his ceremony, that courtroom is packed with people in fancy clothes, reporters, judges, but when Eli stands up, all I see is that little boy I found in the dark. "I wasn't supposed to be here," he says, voice steady. "Statistically, I should have been another lost file. But someone saw me. Someone cared. Amara Johnson, you saved me. I promised to fight for the forgotten, to be what you were for me." When he takes his oath, there isn't a dry eye in the house. After, he pushes through the crowd, wraps me up in the biggest hug, and for the first time, I know the family you make for yourself is the truest kind of family. And yeah, I guess some stories do have a happy ending, but you know what? The world's still full of kids like Eli, houses with locked doors and neighbors who look away. Maybe that's why we have to keep telling these stories, keep breaking the silence. So, what do you think? Who's responsible when nobody wants to get involved? Where's the line between right and wrong, when the law and your heart pull you different ways? Let's talk about it. Drop your thoughts below. Maybe, together, we can make sure the next kid isn't forgotten.